I hate introductions, man. Jesus, my bronzer's terrible today. So I found out I was pregnant when I was around 3 weeks and 4 days, 3 weeks, 3 days, something crazy like that. It was a couple of days before Christmas or something, and I went down and visited my mum, and I just kind of was sitting there looking at her and smiling, like I just really wanted to tell her. I just couldn't keep, I'm really bad at secrets and lies and things like that. I just can't keep it in. I can keep other people's secrets, but I can't keep my own. She was doing the dishes, and I was sitting at the dining table, and I was just kind of looking at her, and I texted my friend Lauren and was like, oh my god, like, should I tell her now? And she's like, yeah, just do it. And I was like, I locked my phone and was smiling, and she's like, you've got something to tell me. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, is it about your boyfriend? Because at the time I was dating someone in Perth. And I was like, no. And then she was like, she whispered, she's like, are you up the dove? And I just laughed. I couldn't. I was laughing nervously. I didn't know what to say. And she was like, and she like put her hand to her mouth, and like for like a solid minute she was just speechless, and I was just laughing. And then she was like, I knew it. She's like, I knew this would happen. And then I said, like, I went like that to say it was 4 weeks, and then she said, who's the dad? And then my brother walked in, and we were like, I was trying to like communicate to her this really complicated situation with my brother in the room. It was really funny. Surprisingly, my mum was actually very supportive and very nice about it. I thought that going into this, my mum is gonna fucking kill me, and my dad is gonna think it's funny and be chill, because my dad's like that. So then a couple of days later, I went down to see my dad and my dad's side of the family, and we had this big family dinner thing, and once again I did my thing where I like kept smiling and kind of lingering around my dad, trying to pick a moment, and there was so many times where I nearly did it, you know, and I just couldn't. I was so nervous. I was so nervous, and I didn't end up telling him, but I told my brother instead. My brother is 17, and he was just like shocked. He was like, really? I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh my god. He's like, once again, like, how far are you? Who's the dad? Typical questions. To explain, my brother's actually quite protective over me, even though he's my little brother, because I didn't have work in Perth, and I was living there still. I was explaining how I was in Perth and I wasn't working, and they said, you should go down to the local pub, they're always hiring people, and just work there for a couple of weeks over the Christmas period while they need someone. And I was like, you know, sure. So yeah, I got the job that day. I was getting so much work, I was so happy, I was earning so much money, but I was really tired all the time. And then I had my bleeding. I one day basically got up off the chair I was sitting in, and started bleeding really heavily. It just kind of like all went and all down my legs and everything, and all over the floor. And I was like, oh my god. And of course instantly I feared the worst. I thought I'm miscarrying, you know. I was only like 5 weeks pregnant at the time. Oh, at this point I had already met, okay, I needed, like, things are a little bit jumbled. New Year's Eve came round, and it was New Year's Eve day. That even makes sense, I don't know. 31st of December. And, you know, I was walking around behind the bar, and then one of my managers, Wilma, I absolutely adore her. I think she's like the best. Whenever I work with her, I'm like, yes, I'm working with Wilma, fuck yeah. I'm pretty sure it was her anyway that introduced me, and she was like, oh, this is Matt. And I looked at this guy standing in the office, talking to the boss, I think, and he was talking, and then he looked at me and I waved, and I think he waved or nodded or something. It looks like I have a pink eye. We worked all day together, and we had this intense chemistry straight up, and just tension between us, and we would find like any excuse to like touch each other. Excuse me, scooting past, let me just like brush your shoulder. And it went like that the whole day, and then we we worked the night together as well. We had our dinner together, our break, and we had a big talk, and we just kind of hit it off. Then it was New Year's countdown. Afterwards, the fireworks are still sort of going, and Matt took me outside so we could get a look at them. And I seriously thought about kissing him, but I was like, that's totally unprofessional. Yeah, and then after that, we kind of went on a couple of dates, started hanging out heaps, and now we're like this now. But anyway, so we were getting to know each other and stuff, and then I had my bleed. So he took me to the hospital where they did nothing and took me home. Then on a couple of days later I bled again. He took me to the hospital again. They did nothing, took me home. And then I bled again. He took me to the hospital. And then they helped me out a little bit more, but like I was just like, please can I just get an ultrasound and find out what's going on? Because I didn't have any pain or cramping, they were like, oh, she'll be right. I was very, very, very frustrated and stressed out during this time, and Matt was incredible. I couldn't believe it. You know, I had just met him like that week, and he was taking such good care of me. You know, after all the driving around, it was a half-hour driving back to the hospital, so you know, and he did that for me. And then he'd, you know, cook me a dinner, and he'd be like, oh, I don't want you to be alone tonight because what if something happens? I want to stay with you. I ended up having to travel all the way back to Bunbury, so make a 2-hour trip to go and see another doctor. And then straight away he gave me a referral for a ultrasound. I was at that point 6 weeks, 4 days, and my mum went with me, and we got to see it, and it was so tiny. It was like a little gummy bear, and it had a heartbeat. I stayed with her for about 2 weeks because I ended up getting put on bedrest because I was so weak. I had no energy, I was drained. It was like the lowest I've ever been physically. And at that point, I'm pretty sure, with all that drama going on, my mum had to like call my dad and say, you know, Chloe's in Bunbury now, and she's not going to be at work. She's going to be here for a couple of weeks because she's on bed rest because she's pregnant, and blah 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 blah. And my dad was like, oh, he was like, oh, all right. So whenever people ask how my dad took it, I'm like, I don't really know what to say because I didn't actually tell him. My mum did on the phone. I think Dad was disappointed for me, but he's still supportive, you know, and he doesn't really know how to talk about stuff or deal with stuff, so we haven't really talked about it. We saw each other a couple of days later, and he said, you know, oh, shit happens, you know, like there's never a good time for anything. Yeah, but we don't really talk about it. That's just my dad though, like I get it. A lot of other people would be like, what the fuck? But I just don't know how to explain it really, it's just my dad. Bedrest was like literally the worst thing ever. I just felt like I was going crazy. I was like, I want to go back to work, I don't care. I was just in such a down place. I felt so alone. Luckily I had my mum. My mum is so supportive, but I came back here and was staying in the little caravan still at my grandparents' house. And then they went funny on me, they went weird, I don't know why. Maybe they heard, because at this point like a lot of people know now in the town, and so maybe they heard I was pregnant and they felt disrespected that I didn't tell them. Oh, and then I told my little siblings. Ben is 12, Leah is 10, and we sat them down, and Mum said, you know, she's like, I don't know if we should because it's so early and they wouldn't understand if anything bad happened, you know, if you lost it, they wouldn't understand that. But with all the shit that's going on and the fact that you're just here and they don't know why, we sort of do need to explain it to them. So I was like, yeah, we do. So we sat them down, and I didn't tell them, Mum told them, because I was just laughing too much, I'm too nervous. I was like, ugh. So Mum explained, and they were both like, oh my god, what? They were so excited. But Mum and I had to say, you know, but you can't get too excited because I'm sick and it could die basically. So it's sad because they haven't really been able to be like, oh my god, because they're trying to keep it, you know, under wraps, but they are excited. But yeah, so I'm back here now, and my grandparents kind of like kicked me out. I don't know. The caravan is owned by my uncle, and my uncle came and got his caravan and took it back. And then my grandparents have room for me. They have a room, but they didn't really offer it, and I didn't really want to stay there anyway because I don't have the best relationship with my grandmother. and we fight, and it's like I don't want this toxic environment around me when I'm pregnant. So where did I go? Oh, I was staying with Matt. I kept staying at his house, and then and he would take me to work and stuff, and now he's gone back to Perth because he actually lives in Perth. The only reason why he was working here for a bit is because his family owns the pub. So he went back to Perth. I went with him and I stayed with him for a couple of days while I had a few days off work, and then now I'm back here, and the pub is also a hotel, and they rent out rooms to people who work here. So I'm staying in a rented out room in the pub, which is really good because then I only take 5 minutes to get ready for work, and I can just shoot down the stairs and I'm at work. It's really easy. Oh shit, I need to focus on saving as much money as possible and providing for myself. My friend, who I was best friends with when I lived here in Pemberton when I was 12, he actually works here, and we've decided to catch up at a cafe, and he just texts me saying he's there and I haven't left, so I need to go, but I'll finish this video later this afternoon.